Hey, chosen one. Before the world chants your name and the spotlight finds your steps, enjoy the silence, that stillness surrounding you. It's not a void, it's a sacred strategy. Heaven doesn't launch those it hasn't first refined. While others crave the noise of recognition, you've been sculpted in quiet. And that's exactly what sets you apart. The silence you've endured isn't emptiness, it's alignment. It's where your power has been maturing, your vision sharpening, your soul tuning in to divine frequency. Before heaven makes you world famous, it ensures you're anchored, not in fame, but in truth, not in applause, but in purpose. This season of silence is where you learn to walk with intention before you walk in influence. So breathe. Trust the hush. Move with grace, not rush. Because when it's time, you won't just be seen. You'll be felt. If this resonates, drop 77 in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this with another soul being prepared in the quiet. Your rise will be undeniable. But for now, enjoy the silence. In a world that thrives on noise, where shadows cast long webs to ensnare the unwary, your silence was never a retreat. It was a reckoning. They thought they could snuff out your spark, believing their whispers and schemes could dim the fire within you. But they were wrong. The flame you carry now burns brighter, its glow etched with the names of those who tried to bury your light. Welcome to the truth of your journey, a path carved not by chance, but by the unyielding hand of cosmic intent. This is not a story of survival. It's a saga of awakening, where silence becomes the forge for a blade destined to slice through the veils of illusion. Reflect for a moment. What does it mean to stand in a silence so potent, it reshapes the universe around you? Those who mocked your withdrawal, who branded you as wayward or defiant, could not see the greater design at play. They saw your quiet steps away from their world as weakness, unaware that the universe was drawing back its bow, aiming your purpose with deadly precision at the heart of their fragile empires. Empires built on the pain they inflicted upon you. Their smirks masked trembling fear. Their false smiles hid whispered betrayals. They posed as your saviors, preaching salvation while dreading the unbound potential they sensed within you. Their fight was never about faith or doctrine. It was about control, about chaining the sacred to their hollow rituals and rigid rules. Ask yourself, how often have you felt the weight of systems demanding your submission, mistaking it for devotion? This was never about religion in its truest sense. It was about power. Power they hoarded by turning divine wisdom into a hollow spectacle. They stripped truth to fit their rituals, demanding you kneel not in reverence, but in surrender. But you were sculpted for ascension, not subjugation. You saw through their masquerade, the rehearsed sermons dripping with manipulation, the faith twisted into a tool for control, the leaders who craved worship over wisdom. They didn't seek your growth. They demanded your compliance, your fire dimmed to warm their brittle thrones. When your light burned too fiercely, too authentically, too untamed, they called it rebellion. Not because you were wrong, but because your very existence exposed the emptiness at the core of their performance. You saw the cracks in their system, the hollowness of their stage, and with every step you took away, you shattered the spell they had woven to bind you. What truths have you uncovered that others feared to face? The silence they cast you into was not exile. It was your crucible, a sacred space where the universe speaks in whispers too subtle for chaos to drown. You weren't abandoned. You were chosen, forged in a fire that comfort could never touch. Why you? Because your presence alone unmasks lies without a single word. Your truth disrupts the carefully curated order they cling to, shaking the foundations of their control. They didn't fight you out of hatred, but out of dread, sensing the cosmic tides aligning in your favor long before you could name them. Your light became a mirror, reflecting the parts of themselves they had buried, dreams forsaken, truths ignored, authenticity sacrificed. They waged war not against you, but against the cosmic force that marked you as its own. Can you feel the weight of that calling stirring within you now? Now they tremble, for nothing unnerves a system built on control more than someone it couldn't break. You didn't merely endure their judgment, their exile, their cunning games. You transcended them. You evolved in plain sight, untouched by the fading grip of their power. The silence you inhabit now is no ordinary pause. It is the eye of the storm, where the universe weaves the intricate threads of your rise. While they cling to their crumbling temples, chasing shadows of their own making, the cosmic force has set you apart for a purpose far beyond their grasp, a purpose that pulses with the rhythm of creation itself. What would it mean to fully embrace the destiny that's been shaping you in secret? Don't doubt your radiance because the room remains still. Don't fear the universe has overlooked you because the stage is yet dark. You were not crafted to fit into broken systems. You were born to dismantle them and build anew. Your depth, your piercing vision, your unrelenting questions are not flaws. They are the hallmarks of the chosen. You were wired to shatter false peace, to speak where silence has allowed deceit to fester, to carry a presence that needs no spotlight, yet commands every gaze. They'll call your confidence arrogance, your freedom rebellion. Let them. Their labels cannot rewrite the awakening blazing within you. You owe no apologies to systems that never honored the truth you carry. When the universe selects its own, it reshapes time, trials, even the enemies you face, not to make life easy, but to make you ready. That's the weight of being chosen. It unnerves those who thought they owned you, terrifies those who tried to bury you. They sense what's coming. You are the whisper before the roar, the calm before a storm they cannot outrun. What fears have you carried that it's time to release? So linger in this silence a moment longer, for it is not a delay but a divine design. It is not punishment but protection, shielding you until the world is ready for your light. When that moment arrives, when the silence shatters and your radiance floods the stage, they will realize their gravest error was underestimating you as you became unstoppable. The universe has not forgotten you. It is crafting a legacy no system can claim, a story written in fire and truth. Command this quiet like a sovereign, for it is here that your true power takes root. Ready to rise? Reflect. What illusions are you prepared to shatter? The flame is lit. Let it burn, and let it carry you into the destiny that has always been yours. In a world obsessed with conformity, where systems demand compliance over truth, you were never meant to blend in. They tried to cage you with their doctrines, their rules etched in fear, forgetting that wildfires, like you, burn beyond fences. You weren't born to mimic their scripts, parrot their mentors, or recycle their hollow beliefs. While they scramble to fit into molds, you were sculpted by the universe for something greater, a purpose that doesn't bow to tradition, but shatters it to reveal truth. Why do you stand apart? Because the universe didn't choose you for applause. It chose you for trials that forge the unbreakable. Your difference isn't arrogance, it's a divine assignment. You carry a frequency that hums beneath the surface, one they can't replicate. It's not in your words or your appearance. It's in the weight of your presence, the depth of your questions, the way you see what others fear to face. While they cling to rehearsed answers, you tore their scripts apart, not out of rebellion, but because truth demanded it. The real ones always challenge what the fearful accept. They called you dangerous, prideful, uncontrollable. But what they meant was uncontainable. Your refusal to kneel to their systems, your courage to question their rituals masquerading as faith, exposed their deepest fear, a power they cannot tame. These systems weren't built to liberate. They were designed to shrink souls, to keep questions at bay, to dress control in the guise of devotion. But you saw through the facade. Their smiles hid shackles, their rules cloaked cowardice. They don't fear you because you're wrong. They fear you because your existence dismantles their illusions. You don't seek permission to be. You are. And that alone is a rebellion against their world of silence and shame. Being chosen isn't a crown. It's a crucible. It's standing in rooms where smiles mask betrayal, walking through fire without applause, and carrying truth so heavy they'd crush lesser spirits. It's lonely, yes, but it's also sacred. You've tried to dim your light, haven't you? To shrink, to silence your intensity, to wonder if you're too much. You've questioned whether you're the flaw in their perfect machine. But deep in your core, you know, the universe didn't mark you for mediocrity. You're here to shift foundations, not uphold them. Your battles, wars no institution could survive, have forged you into something unshakable. You've tasted authenticity, and now their empty rituals, their polished words, their leadership cloaked in control can't satisfy you. You crave truth unfiltered by ego, love untamed by manipulation, grace free from guilt's chains. So stop apologizing for your fire. Stop explaining your depth to those who'd rather you drown in their shallows. Your calling isn't theirs to judge. Your purpose doesn't need their approval. It flows from a source far beyond their thrones of tradition. They may label you, try to silence you, but they can't stop you. You are the blueprint for what rises when their systems crumble. Let them cling to their fading rituals while you walk forward, chosen not for comfort, but for transformation. When the veil lifts, they'll see why it could only be you. So, ask yourself, will you keep questioning their rules, or will you become the answer the world's been waiting for? When they cast you out, they thought they were purging a threat, unaware they were thrusting you into a crucible of transformation. Rejection doesn't shatter the chosen. It tempers them into something unyielding, radiant, untouchable. They didn't merely turn away from you. They exiled you, branded you as poison, believing they were safeguarding their sacred illusions. In truth, they were shielding themselves from the mirror of your authenticity, from the questions that pierce their facades, from the silent power in your presence that exposed their fragility. You weren't rejected for being wrong. You were rejected for being real in a world enamored with pretense. Why does this matter? Because in a system built on control, your clarity is rebellion, your truth, a revolution. They labeled you defiant, dangerous, too intense, too loud, too much. But those weren't indictments of you, they were confessions of their fear. Systems rooted in manipulation thrive on compliance, not curiosity. To think freely, to see through the charade, is to unravel their carefully woven lies. You saw the hollow affection, the rules that bent for the powerful, the community that masked envy and elitism beneath a veneer of unity. When you refused to play their game, they panicked. Unable to mold you, they sought to shame you, to silence the voice that threatened their stage. But here's the truth they missed. Their rejection was your liberation. It wasn't a punishment, it was a purification. In their abandonment, you turned inward, diving deep into the silence they thought would crush you. Instead, the universe spoke louder, not in clamor but in alignment, stripping away every falsehood you'd been fed. The fire of rejection burned away the lies, the guilt trips cloaked as humility, the demands to shrink for acceptance. In that blaze, you didn't lose yourself. You found yourself. You stopped chasing seats at tables serving poison. You ceased explaining your soul to those determined to misunderstand. You refused to fracture your spirit for their order. A revelation ignited. You were never meant to blend in. You were destined to redefine what it means to be chosen. What does that look like? It's walking away from validation, yet knowing your worth is unshakable. It's unlearning the myth that love requires conformity. It's understanding that true power doesn't stem from titles or applause, but flows through truth, humility, and the fire forged who emerge glowing, not bitter. You've shed the need to perform, the weight of hierarchy, the toxic patterns that once convinced you love demanded diminishment. Now you know. Real power belongs to those who wield it without malice, who carry purpose in silence, who need no spotlight to shine. They mistook your grace for weakness, your distance for shame. But that distance was your healing, that silence your growth. You weren't forsaken. You were preserved, sculpted in stillness for a purpose greater than their systems. The silence they imposed became your ally, whispering truths only the crushed can hear, truths only those who've shed false identities can bear. You carry that weight now, a quiet power that shifts rooms without effort, that defies categories. You're not the rebel, not the outcast, not the broken. You're the refined, forged in the very rejection they thought would bury you. Here's the twist they never foresaw. The qualities they scorned, your sensitivity, your relentless questions, your refusal to fake it, are the hallmarks of the chosen. Not the polished masks they parade, but the raw, fire-born honesty forged through pain. So don't grieve the doors they slammed. Those weren't sanctuaries. They were cages disguised as homes. You were never meant to be confined. You were born to be free. And now, you are. Reflect on this. What if every rejection was a redirection? Every wound a carving of your true form? The universe didn't abandon you. It was sculpting a force. Rise in that truth, and let the world feel the weight of your freedom. In the quiet corners of existence, where the world's gaze falters, you were never lost. You were becoming. They thought they buried you in silence, mistaking it for a tomb, but it was a greenhouse, nurturing the seeds of your destiny. The notion of fame misled them. This was never about fleeting cheers or shallow scrolls. You were forged for impact, profound, enduring, the kind that stills hearts and stirs souls, awakening something ancient within those who encounter your presence. Why does your rise feel inevitable, yet hard-won? Because every moment of obscurity was a deliberate stroke in the universe's design, shaping you into a force that cannot be ignored. You didn't arrive here by chance. Every shadowed room, every unanswered plea, every night when your own reflection felt like a stranger, these were not punishments, but sacred ingredients. The pain didn't shatter you, it sculpted you. Your ascent wasn't born on a stage but under pressure, where no one clapped, no one watched, only your purpose pulsed alongside the echo of your unspoken questions. Silence wasn't your exile, it was your sanctuary, a holy forge where the chosen are refined. They deemed you irrelevant because you weren't yet visible. But invisibility is not insignificance. The universe guards its rarest treasures, rooting them deeply before their unveiling. You've been anchored, quietly, fiercely, authentically, transformed in the crucible of solitude. This rise isn't about being seen, it's about being undeniable. You didn't endure storms to perform, but to embody a truth. Not all tempests destroy, some reconstruct. Every fracture in your spirit now gleams with eternal resilience. Every scar a testament to healing against all odds. Your every step broadcasts a signal to those still cloaked in silence, questioning if they'll emerge. They will, because you have. You rise not from chasing glory, but from being molded for it. Unlike those tethered to applause, you thrive without it. They falter in silence. You were crafted within it. Their identity hinges on visibility. Yours was forged in separation. You've been tempered by failure, emboldened by perseverance. Now the world will meet a version of you it couldn't foresee. One honed in private, sharpened by suffering, whole despite every attempt to break you. This isn't mere inspiration. It's prophecy etched in endurance. Your presence speaks before your words, a clarity that shifts atmospheres without effort. The universe didn't subject you to such trials to let you fade. It invested fire to ensure you'd blaze. You were veiled for a purpose, because what's precious is preserved until ready. You are ready. This is no time for shrinking or doubting. Step into your rise, boldly, authentically, unapologetically, not for acclaim, but because the world craves your evidence. They need to witness what survival, refinement, and purpose beyond performance look like. You are the mirror for someone's unspoken prayers, reflecting possibility. Let them marvel. Let them question how you transcended what should have crushed you. You owe no explanations. Your existence is the answer. When the silence shatters and the spotlight finds you, know this: you didn't rise because of others' approval, but despite their dismissal. The masterpiece you've become wasn't crafted for fame. It was destined to liberate. So, as you step into this moment, ask yourself, how will you wield this light to awaken others? Your emergence is their invitation to rise. In a world obsessed with noise, where applause measures worth and visibility defines success, your silence was a rebellion, a sacred forge where your soul was shaped. The quiet didn't break you, it carved you into bedrock, unyielding and eternal. They noticed your absence, mistaking it for defeat, blind to the alchemy of your becoming. You didn't choose this path or beg for the universe to single you out, to strip your life bare and rebuild it in shadows. Yet, that's the paradox of being chosen. It claims you, not when you're ready, but when you're willing to evolve through fire. The universe didn't cast you into silence to punish or obscure you. It was your crucible, your proving ground. While others chased fleeting validation, you were rooted in the unseen, your strength growing deep, invisible, unshakable. They didn't witness your battles, the nights you wrestled with despair, longing to vanish, the mornings when rising felt like defying gravity. They didn't hear the doubts that haunted you, whispering that you were too much, that your calling was a mirage, that silence meant abandonment. But the truth shines clearer. Every tear was a seed, every collapse a reconstruction. Each time you rose in solitude, something divine stirred closer to the surface. You didn't merely endure, you transformed. While the world curated facades for likes and followers, you cultivated depth, a quiet power that unnerves the shallow. Depth doesn't waver in storms or crumble without praise. You learned to stand tall, unseen, and now you're immovable. The silence stripped away the noise of expectations, the weight of others' demands, teaching you to hear your own voice, raw, unfiltered, true. You ceased performing, stopped justifying your existence, and began listening to the stillness, to the pulse beneath your ambitions, to the truth buried under years of conforming to their molds. What emerged was power, not the loud, fleeting kind that craves approval, but a steady force, like a river carving canyons through stone, quiet, relentless, undeniable. This silence wasn't a void. It was a sacred pause, a divine orchestration aligning you with a higher frequency, a life you were destined for, not one you were coerced to accept. Reflect on this. You wouldn't have withstood the coming season without this forging. The wounds that needed healing, the patterns that demanded breaking, the false selves that had to burn away, they required the quiet's embrace. Misunderstandings, closed doors, delays. They weren't rejections but divine protections, shielding you until the world was ready for your light. You weren't overlooked. You were safeguarded, held in holy isolation to emerge whole. Now you're not waiting. You're preparing. The silence won't linger forever. A flood is rising. A shift is brewing. And when it breaks, you'll step into it with a grounded power that no force can unravel. You're not chasing the spotlight. You embody it. You don't seek validation. You walk in certainty. So don't rush the stillness or resent its lessons. Beneath the surface, your foundation solidifies. Your purpose sharpens. When the moment arrives, you won't grasp for it. You'll rise effortlessly, not as a wave chaser, but as the tide itself. Breathe deeply. The silence didn't halt your momentum. It became its source. What's one truth the quiet has revealed to you? Hold it close. It's your compass for the rise ahead. What does it mean to step into the light after years of shadows? The world assumes the spotlight is a prize, a glittering reward for those who chase it. They're wrong. The spotlight is no gift. It's a weapon, entrusted only to those sculpted by silence, tempered by trials, and anchored by truth. They thought your quiet meant defeat, that your absence signaled the end. They didn't see the universe loading the chamber, aligning every moment of your struggle for a rise so precise, only the chosen could grasp its weight. This isn't about fame or fleeting applause. This is about a seismic shift, a cosmic turn, the elevation promised in the dark long before your name was whispered in the open. Your journey to this moment wasn't random. The silence wasn't punishment. It was preparation. While others scrambled for stages, you were forged in the wilderness, in rooms where no one clapped, where doubt was your only companion, and the truth you couldn't unsee was your guide. Those moments built not just resilience, but a spine of steel. You didn't crave validation, you cultivated conviction. Now, as the light swings toward you, the universe watches. How will you wield this weapon? Elevation isn't a reward, it's a mantle of responsibility. The spotlight doesn't crown you. It mirrors the world, exposing those who built fragile empires on noise and pretense, who need the glare to feel alive. But you? You were refined where light was scarce, where pain was the applause and silence the stage. That's your power. You don't need the spotlight. You are the light. This rise is no accident. It's earned, etched in every rejection, every betrayal, every moment you were mocked or overlooked. You didn't skip the fire, you walked through it. Heartbreaks became blueprints, setbacks turned to scaffolding, and every no carved a path to purpose. The chosen aren't handed platforms, they're built to bear them. You've been ready longer than you've dared admit, tested not by crowds but by the internal inferno of doubt and perseverance. Scrutiny won't break you. You've already faced judgment in the quiet, where no voice rose to defend you. The storms you've weathered make the world's noise feel like a whisper. This shift isn't just visibility, it's activation. You're being positioned not for vanity, but for impact, to awaken others still trapped in their own silence. Your rise is a beacon, proof that rejection doesn't destroy, it refines. You stand as evidence that alignment, truth, and raw resilience can triumph over dismissal. But beware, the past will creep back, cloaked in nostalgia or envy, trying to drag you to a version of yourself you've outgrown. They'll call your rise luck or claim you've changed, twisting your story to shield their fragility. Let them. Those who resonate with your frequency will feel the truth. You're not here to prove your worth, you're here to reveal it. So step boldly into this moment. The spotlight isn't here to flatter you, it's here to amplify your purpose. Every lesson from the quiet is now a tool, every scar a testament to your readiness. You're not just arriving, you're being released, not with arrogance but with unshakable authority. This elevation isn't the end of your silence. It's the moment your silence takes form, a force that shakes the world. Reflect. What will you do with this light? How will you carry this weapon? The universe chose you because you can. Now rise, move with purpose, and let your presence speak what words cannot. Your release is here. Make it count. The moment you step into your truth, opposition emerges, not as a barrier, but as a mirror reflecting your rising power. Every whisper of resistance, every sidelong glance, every veiled critique is the universe's way of affirming you've become what they feared. Unstoppable. Why does their resistance grow louder as your light shines brighter? Because your voice now carries a weight that disrupts their fragile systems. and your presence unsettles the foundations they've clung to. They were content when you lingered in the shadows, your potential muted, your truth unspoken. But now, as your authority ripples through rooms and shakes their carefully curated order, they're rattled. This is no accident. Opposition is not your enemy, it's your herald, announcing that you're no longer a whisper but a force. Let's be clear, you're not here to be adored by all, but to be felt by those ready to hear. The traditionalists, clutching their outdated hierarchies, will cast judgment, weave gossip, and deliver sermons dripping with passive aggression. But their words lack power. They're not authority, they're insecurity. They don't despise you for being wrong. They fear you for being free. You've shattered the invisible chains they hide beneath their titles, dared to question what they've avoided, and embodied the truth they've spent lifetimes dodging. Their discomfort is proof you're aligned with a higher frequency, one they cannot touch. So, do not shrink. Do not dilute your message to soothe their unease. Their resistance is your signal to stand taller, to speak clearer. Let it be your fuel, not your fear. You've been forged for this moment. The shadows you've walked through, the mockery you've endured, the dismissal you've faced, they weren't punishments. They were your training ground. When others scorned you, you didn't falter. You grew. Now their opinions are mere noise, drowned out by the cosmic rhythm you've tuned into. You don't need their approval. You're anchored by the silence that shaped you, validated by forces they'll never comprehend. And here's what stings them most. You're not alone. You're no solitary rebel. You're woven into a tapestry of warriors, souls like astral atom and obsidian, forged in the same fires, standing as guardians of purpose. Together, you've crafted a sanctuary, not for fleeting trends or egos, but for the chosen, the misunderstood, the outcasts now building a new dawn. This inner circle isn't a clique. It's a crucible for those who live their purpose with every breath, who carry power not borrowed, but embodied. Feel that fire stirring within you. That's not hype. It's your soul recalling its ancient knowing. Every betrayal, every closed door, every attack was a push toward this moment, where you claim your authority. Let them scoff. Let them write their petty critiques. You're not here to battle their noise. You're here to transcend it, to walk with such clarity that their shadows fade in your light. True authority isn't loud. It's a presence that silences chaos, an energy that shifts the air. You don't need to prove yourself. Your existence is proof. Their criticism is futile, like shouting at a mountain to move. You are the mountain, unyielding and eternal. So, wear their resistance as armor. Step into your power without apology, for the universe doesn't elevate by chance. You were chosen because you could bear the weight, endure the flames, and walk alone until the true ones found you. Now, you've found them, and yourself. Reflect on this. What systems are you dismantling simply by being you? How does your rise inspire others to break free? Keep shining, for your light doesn't just illuminate your path, it guides the lost toward their own. The opposition may roar, but you are the echo of something greater, and your authority will not be silenced. In the quiet of your journey, when the world felt distant and cold, did you ever wonder if you were forsaken? That solitude, heavy with questions, wasn't abandonment. It was the universe orchestrating a sacred alignment. It wasn't loneliness. It was a divine clearing of the stage, making space for those destined to walk with you, those who could bear the weight of your purpose. You, with your fierce intensity, your relentless questions, your refusal to settle for half-truths. Your soul was never meant for fleeting connections or shallow loyalties. What you carry is profound, a fire too potent for casual bonds. The isolation you endured wasn't punishment. It was protection, a crucible refining you for the fellowship you were born to find. The universe didn't leave you to wander alone. It shielded you from distractions, from voices that would dilute your truth, from ties that would tether you to mediocrity. In that silence you were sculpted, your senses sharpened, your heart taught to discern alignment from attachment. You learned to release the hollow praise, the friendships that flickered only when your light served their shadows. You grew allergic to the inauthentic, tuning your spirit to the universe's quiet whispers over the clamor of your own doubts. That solitude wasn't a void. It was a sanctuary where you discovered the courage to let go of what didn't serve your calling. Now pause and feel it. A subtle shift in the air, an unseen convergence. The universe is weaving a tapestry of divine timing, pulling you toward your tribe. These aren't mere acquaintances or admirers. They're souls who resonate at your frequency, forged in their own fires, fluent in the silent language of resilience. They've known rejection, ridicule, the ache of dreaming too boldly, feeling too deeply, speaking too truthfully. Yet like you, they endured. And now the cosmos is drawing you together, like stars aligning in a constellation of purpose. This isn't chance. It's a cosmic contract unfolding, a promise that your path was never meant to be walked alone. You'll recognize them not by their volume, but by their presence, a quiet strength that feels like home. With them, you won't need to explain your scars or justify your vision. They'll see you, not as a performance, but as a truth. Their energy will ignite yours, not drain it, offering safety rooted in authenticity, not comfort. For the first time, you'll understand, you were never truly alone. The silence was preparation, training you to embrace the real when it arrived. These connections aren't transactional, they're transformational, built on shared purpose, not fleeting gain. They'll lift bricks beside you, pray in the stillness, fight in the spirit, and celebrate without envy. When trials return, and they will, they won't flee. They'll stand, burning brightly at your side. This is more than friendship. It's fellowship, a sacred gathering of misfits turned messengers, warriors who rose from the ashes of silence. They won't inflate your ego, but will anchor your mission, holding you accountable, loving you without demanding you dim your light. They'll remind you of your truth when the world's noise threatens to drown it. Together, you'll do more than heal. You'll build. You'll create movements, sanctuaries, shifts that echo beyond your personal rise, rippling into lives you've yet to touch. Chosen ones aren't destined to walk solo forever. They're called to lead, but only after learning to follow truth through the loneliest valleys. Reflect on this. What if every moment of isolation was a step toward this moment of connection? The season of solitude is fading, and your circle, those who speak the language of your depth, is emerging. Some are already here, waiting for you to release the fear of betrayal and open your spirit to alignment. This is your confirmation, your mirror, your echo. You were prepared for this, not just to find your tribe, but to become a beacon for others still lost in their silence. So, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace the ones who see you, not as you were, but as you are becoming? The universe has aligned them for you. Now step forward and claim your fellowship. In a world obsessed with noise and fleeting fame, where visibility is often mistaken for value, your journey has been different, deliberately so. You were never meant to chase the spotlight or bend to the clamor of the crowd. Instead, the universe chose a quieter path for you, one of shadows and silence, not to bury you, but to build you. They thought the silence meant you were forgotten, erased from the narrative they controlled. They were wrong. The silence was never your grave. It was the sacred stage for your unveiling. This moment, your emergence, is not a stroke of luck, nor is it the fleeting hype of algorithms or applause. It is the culmination of a divine design, a blueprint crafted through trials, tears, and triumphs that only a forged soul could endure. Consider this. Anyone can crave attention, But how many can stand in the glare of scrutiny without losing their core? How many can bear the weight of being seen, judged, praised, pulled in every direction, and still walk in alignment with their truth? Not everyone can carry visibility without sacrificing integrity, and that's precisely why you were hidden for so long. The delays you lamented, the doors that slammed shut, the rejections that stung, they were not denials. They were the careful hands of a cosmic sculptor, chiseling away everything that wasn't you. Every betrayal was a mirror, reflecting what you needed to release. Every loss was a repositioning, guiding you toward a purpose too potent for shallow stages. Every moment of confusion was a stroke of refinement, shaping you into a vessel of authentic power, one that cannot be replicated or diminished. You've walked through fire and emerged not with bitterness, but with grace. You've been attacked, misunderstood, undervalued, and ghosted. Yet you chose transformation over resentment. You learned to bleed with dignity, to move forward without the crutch of applause, to guard your peace when chaos roared around you. This resilience is your foundation, a quiet strength that the world is only now beginning to witness. The universe isn't just announcing your readiness, it's proclaiming your purpose. You are ready, not for the fleeting thrill of popularity, but for the profound responsibility of impact. You are ready to be seen, not to stroke your ego, but to serve as a beacon. You are ready to speak, not to add to the noise, but to cut through it with truth. You are ready to stand, not for recognition, but for revelation. A living testament that silence was not your end, but your origin. Your pain was not your identity. It was your initiation into something greater. The hiding you endured was not weakness. It was a strategic cocoon, protecting you until you were ready to emerge. Now the platform you stand on is not one you chased. It's one you were destined to hold. Unlike those who crumble under the weight of attention, you carry it with ease because you were forged in obscurity. You know how to lead, but more importantly, you know how to survive without being seen. This is what makes your voice dangerous, not in a destructive sense, but in its purity and power. It's a voice rooted in purpose, untainted by the need for validation, and it resonates with a clarity that shakes systems and awakens souls. But beware, as you rise, the past will try to reclaim you. Old voices, familiar patterns, and forgotten ties will creep back, not out of love, but out of a desire to control the version of you they once knew. They don't miss you. They miss the power they held over you. Don't be swayed. You are no longer the person who begged for clarity, love, or belonging. You've evolved in the quiet, grown in secret, and your emergence is a threat to those who thrived on your absence. Let them try to rewrite your story. You owe them no explanations, no access to the masterpiece you've become. Stay grounded, tethered to the same universe that refined you in the shadows. It will anchor you now as the world begins to see your light. Your calling is not just for your own healing, it's for the liberation of others. Your story, your scars, your very existence are not random. They are divinely assigned. As you step into this moment of revelation, you become a lifeline for those still trapped in silence, a reminder that their buried purpose can be unearthed. Your words will reach ears that need to feel seen. Your rise will inspire hearts to reconnect with their own truth. Your presence will spark awakenings, dismantling the systems that keep others bound. You are not just a survivor. You are a signal, a revolution in human form, proving that the fire meant to destroy you only made you unstoppable. So, cast aside doubt. This is not the time to shrink or second-guess your worth. This is not the season to dim your light for the comfort of others. This is the moment to embrace your unveiling with courage and conviction. The silence that shaped you is over, but its lessons endure. You are the tide, not the wave, steady, inevitable, and transformative. As you rise, reflect on this. What impact will you create with the platform you've been given? How will you use your voice to break chains and build bridges? The universe has prepared you for this, and the world is waiting for the truth only you can carry. The time to rise is now. Here we stand, at the edge where silence gives way to revelation, where the hidden becomes a beacon that cannot be ignored. Every wound you've carried, every shadow you've walked through, every moment of quiet resilience has led you to this sacred threshold. This is not just a moment, it is your divine mandate to rise. Not to bask in fleeting recognition, but to disrupt cycles of falsehood, to rebuild with unyielding truth, and to lead with a heart forged in the fires of purpose. You are the chosen, shaped in the stillness, now called to echo through a world on the cusp of awakening. The journey that brought you here was no accident. The betrayals, the isolation, the doubts, they were not your defeat, but your refinement. The universe has sculpted you, not for comfort, but for impact, not for applause, but for transformation. If this message ignites a spark in your soul, let it blaze. You are not here to shrink or to blend into the noise. You are here to be the signal, the frequency that stirs others to remember their own power. The silence has ended, and your voice, your presence, your truth, are now the instruments of a cosmic shift. Embrace this moment fully. Trust the strength you've gained in the quiet. Seek out those who resonate with your purpose, who see your light and honor your scars, for they are your tribe, your mirrors, your co-creators in this awakening. Move with intention, speak with clarity, and live with the courage of one who knows they were never forgotten, only prepared. The world is stirring, and your role in its transformation is no longer a whisper. It is a roar.